with whoever I like.
You like street niggas?
I've dated a few.
I promised I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, no matter what. And they just stay on that secret shit.
And now you move on to another guy that you don't feel as happy that you are with that guy.
There used to be a time that fairy tales were true.
Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notifications button so you can get the videos as soon as I put them out. If you're looking for the music to the intro and you want the link to the second channel, both are below in the description. But can you do me a favor, hit the notifications button right now. All right, guys, today I got about 5 videos for you. The first video is going to be a guy breaking down why Western women all want the same type of guy. The second video is going to be Andrew Tate breaking down a story that I think you guys should pay attention to, because this is one of those genius stories that just gives out so much information. The third video is going to be a guy breaking down how society has weakened men for control. Then we have Lil Durk is going to be asking a woman what type of man do she date and what type of man do she deal with, and guess what? Her answer could be something that you expect. And then the last video is going to be Sneeko. He's going to be checking a woman logic with her delusion. This is one that I want you guys to watch, as Sneeko is starting to become one of those guys that you want to watch too. He's pushing barriers. He's starting to grow. So you guys should get out there and subscribe to him as well. And of course, the Fresh and Fit podcast. But first, let's get to the first video where guys say all Western women want the same type of guy.
They all want men in the West. Criteria is very high, and they all seem to have the same criteria. They all want the same type of guy, even though they would love to admit that they don't want the same type of guy. Maybe it doesn't work out with the right type of guy, and now you move on to another guy that you don't feel as happy that you are with that guy. Women in the West, criteria is...
And he's absolutely right. The other guy, the fallback guy, is the guy who's going to catch the runt of it all, because literally she's with you to give her the confidence back to leave you. A lot of you guys have became that guy. That's where she gets in a relationship with the guy that you think is bad, but she actually messed up the relationship, because she's going to tell you that guy was bad, the guy before him was bad, the guy before him was bad. You notice it always starts off with her telling you why all these other guys were bad. It throws you into simp mode, and what you say is, I'm not gonna be like all those other guys, and I'm gonna jump into simp mode and show you that I'm the hero. And literally, the better you treat her, the worse she's going to treat you. That's what he's talking about. Don't be the fallback guy. She gets the guy she wants, but then when he don't want her and she goes running to the man, she typically goes with the simp who gives up his all. That's gonna give her the confidence to move on to another guy. All right, next video is going to be Andrew Tate breaking down one of these stories. I kind of like what he says in this. Let's just get to it.
Of the Cambridge, 23, I was dating a ballerina. She was the prima ballerina of the Cambridge Ballet School. And I had no money. I was a fighter, but I was coming up. I didn't really have any money. And she lived far away, like an hour and a half away, but she used to come see me, and we were good for like a year and a half. I love this girl, yeah? She finished ballet school. She started dancing in clubs in London. Not stripping, but like dancing in the club, you know. So now she's around all the London money every day. She's out dancing all the time. She's up late every night. She doesn't want to drive an hour and a half to come see me. None of this shit. So anyway, when I finally saw her again, she was like, we had an argument. She's like, well, you know what? You think you're a fighter. This guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. I'm like, look, fuck idiots. At least do it for money. And when she left the house, Tristan said, why are you telling her to fuck the dudes? I'm like, no, I'm just understanding that in my chess position, I've lost this game. Most of the time, men truly lose at life. It's because they've attached themselves to a queen and they won't let her up. They won't sacrifice her. No matter what. I promised I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, no matter what. And they just stay on that sinking ship till she eventually leaves his ass. And it's sad to see, but men keep doing it.
And he is absolutely right. See, you guys have to get to the point where you can actually spot the red flags early in the game, and you'll know exactly where you're gonna take the relationship. You're going to know if she's side chick material. You're going to know if this is just a fling. You're going to know if this is the type of girl that you should pull close. You're going to know that as you gain the experience. But what happens is a lot of you guys end up with the wrong woman. You're so afraid of being alone that you hold on to him no matter what. And what do? She treats you bad and messes your mind up. That's what he said. You got to learn to sacrifice your queen in order to get ahead. You may have to take the girl that you like the most and you have to look at all her red flags and you have to say, you know what? I do like her, but I got to let her go. I'm so attracted to her. I have her. I may not get another girl as good as her or look as good as her, but right now she just has too many red flags and I have to let her go. You guys are afraid to do that, and then she drags you down the road and just completely rearranges your life and you're never the same again. So he is absolutely right. Learn to sacrifice the one that's not good for you. Right, next video, we have a guy who's going to be breaking down society, and this is Ahmad Ghazi. All right, Ahmad Ghazi, I guess that's his name. Let's get to it.
Be weak because here's why. Like, if you want to break a society, the first thing that you do is you make the men weak, and the other thing that you do is you over sexualize society, and they've done this on purpose. That's why, like, in schools they'll be like, porn is healthy, it's normal to watch porn, right? Like, you know, masturbate as much as you can. Okay, cool. So you're gonna lower your testosterone, and the most important thing is you are gonna bring about a feeling of shame. And on the spectrum of emotion, shame is the worst thing you can feel. Guilt is above shame, because shame means fundamentally I'm a bad person. They want men to be weak because here's why.
He's absolutely right. That's where a lot of you guys get caught up at. When your insecurity level becomes low, and I've told you guys, this is why the NoFap is very important, because you have to make yourself stronger psychologically. See, when you can't make yourself strong psychologically, you're going to be embarrassed of who you are. You're not going to feel like you're good enough as a man, and you're going to be shaming yourself. You're going to walk around with shame. You're just going to feel like, I'm not that guy. I'm not good looking. I'm not rich. I'm not this. I'm not that. You're going to keep telling yourself a whole bunch of what you're not. And you're going to be shaming yourself. And that shame is going to hold you down. It's going to continue to follow you. When you fall into that loop, you're going to fall into depression. When you fall into depression and you stay depressed for 21 days, then it becomes an addict. You're an addict to depression. That's where a lot of people are stuck at. Even if you put them in happy situations, they find a way to mess it up because they get all their dopamine releases from being depressed. Next video is going to be Young Durk, Lil Durk, asking a woman, do she mess with who? Let's get to it.
With whoever I like.
Do you like street niggas?
I've dated a few. I couldn't say I could see anything super serious happening with it, but yeah, I don't know.
Just like you don't want her shaking her ass, you don't want him in the street.
Yeah.
Lil Durk asked her, do you mess with street dudes? And she says, oh, I've messed with a few. She's just been ran through a couple times. That's what they're saying. All right. Nowadays, expect this just to be the norm amongst women. And the reason why is because everybody is raised off of P-Hub now. Everybody goes to P-Hub for everything. You have a lot of people that are lonely and sad. What do? They go to P-Hub to get the dopamine releases through your body. See, a lot of you guys have spent so much on the hub that's where your dopamine releases are. So all you keep doing is watching the same type of girl you should not be with because you keep watching the hub. All right. If you guys want to correct everything with your dating lifestyle, you have to first correct who you are as a person and learn to become the stronger version of yourself. And you want them to be having any relationship problems at all. The next video is going to be my man Sneeko. He's going to be correcting one of these girls on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Let's get to it. Hold on.
I feel like men take a little longer to mature, the majority of them. So
you don't think it's immature that every girl in here is an 8 and above?
Why is that immature?
That's just, I mean, the chat won't agree. That's not being self-aware. That's a lack of self-awareness. If everybody in here is an 8, then the average is too high. That makes no sense based on the population. You were selected through Instagram, not based on 1 through 10. Wouldn't it be mature to have a realistic answer? There's no way every girl in here is an 8 and above.
So, okay, so who's gonna say they're like a 5 or something?
A man.
I believe someone with low
A
self-esteem.
man.
Well,
A man
Who's
would
not
say
gonna
that.
rate themselves above an 8?
So a 5,
like,
ladies,
let's be
is
for real.
average. A 5 is average,
That's low though.
but it's average.
Who wants to be average?
It's not about what you want. It's about what's realistic.
He's absolutely right. All right. Now, the point of the story here is that the women are saying that they're all 8s and 10s. All right. They're ranking themselves high is what they're doing. But whenever it comes to the men, she's saying that men are too immature. So what Sneeko came back with was, well, isn't it immature for you to rate everybody a 8 and 10 when they're clearly not? That's what it is. When you are clearly not an 8 or a 10 and you're ranking yourself that's worse than being immature, because everybody's going to go through an immature stage and then they're going to mature. But whenever you're just telling a flat out delusional lie, then that's more mental problems. That's more of a mental aggravation thing that's happening right now. And that's what happens with women. What's happening with women is they're afraid of logic. They're afraid of the truth because it's easier for them to live inside of their delusion. That's what you have to understand. If a woman can go online and post a photo and within 10 minutes, there's 100 guys telling her that she's pretty, well, she has her dopamine released for today. So she can tell you, I have all kind of guys that want to be with me. All kind of guys with money that want to be with me. I got guys asking me to marry them all the time. It sounds good. But the problem is the guys that are asking you this are mentally ill. And the problem is your ego is coming from mentally ill men that you know are mentally ill that you would never date. But you're using it to hold regular men accountable. What does that mean? You're forcing an ideology onto regular men that you yourself cannot get at all. So women are forcing men to say, hey, you got to step your game up. You have to be this type of guy. You got to be a high value man. You have to be there. Why? Because you have thousands of mentally ill men trying to get with you that's telling you they'll give you this money, that's telling you they'll do all this that you haven't went out with at all. You're using a delusional audience of mentally ill men to make real men compete with them. But real men can see that. We can see your ego is delusional because the guys that are gassing you up are typically the guys that you would never date. And when you do get around to dating these type of dudes, when you go to break up, that's when the problem starts. This is Anthony Spade. Hopefully you guys are able to get the message behind the videos. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. Hasta la vista.